You have likely heard the term brain rot in recent months. It refers to scrolling on social media, replacing time spent on hobbies, reading, and it's having a real impact on our brain health. But neurologists are also pointing to our refrigerators, pantries, saying what we consume plays a big role in cognitive function at the same time. So much so, it could lead to serious diseases, stroke, even death. Health experts are warning your daily decaf, other food habits, they could be contributing to your brain's decline. Here now, public health senior contributor for Forbes, Dr. Omer Awan. Doctor, good morning to you. This is pretty serious. So we're talking about decaf coffee, beer, soda. These are just some of the drinks that scientists list here as harmful to our brains. Would you mind walking us through what everyday Americans should be looking for on grocery store shelves? What ingredients should we avoid and why?
Absolutely. Good morning, Kelly. Really fascinating topic and story. And a lot of very common things that we don't assume to be harmful are harmful. So, for example, things like protein powders, sodas, French fries, very common foods that many of us eat. And if we take a look at protein powder, for example, although it's low in calories and we think that it's maybe healthy for us, it is high in artificial sweeteners. And that's the key here. When you have artificial sweeteners, that can alter the gut microbiome that's really effective and important for producing many important vitamins, minerals, and even chemicals. And for example, the chemical serotonin, which is critical for regulating things like mood and sleep, that can decrease when you have artificial sweeteners. And that can, of course, then increase levels of depression, anxiety, difficulty sleeping. So you can see how some important chemicals or ingredients can really make your brain health go down south pretty fast.
Wow. And that's shocking because so many people think they're doing something good for their bodies when you throw that in a smoothie or whatnot. You know, margarine, that was another one that scientists say avoid completely. So do you mind making the case for why the real thing is better?
Yeah, so margarine is very high in trans fat. And when you have foods that are high in trans fat, that can result in increased inflammation. It can narrow your blood vessels that supply the brain. And when that happens, that can increase, of course, your risk of stroke, your risk of dementia, and poor brain health overall. So a better alternative would be to turn to maybe olive oil or real butter. And that's what you should really look for if you really want to stay healthy.
Now, this one's a little bit more recent, some new age concoctions here. Many states now legalizing cannabis. Doctors are warning that cannabis-infused foods, though, can actually do some serious damage as well. So what's the reasoning behind that advice?
So somewhat similar to what we talked about margarine. So, cannabis, the active ingredient there is THC, and that can really narrow your vessels, particularly your arteries that supply blood to your brain. And that can exacerbate things like migraine headaches, because we know that migraine headaches are a result from, potentially decreased blood supply to the brain, also increasing your risk of stroke and dementia. And the thing that's important here is that this can affect otherwise healthy young individuals who have no other medical conditions. So, a young person, imagine a young person eating like a brownie as you're showing right now that has, cannabis or marijuana in it. That can really have a devastating effect on that person's health by exacerbating migraines and potentially increasing their risk for dementia.
Yeah, well, that's certainly important to note. And, to close out here, maybe the least surprising, French fries. So, doctor, are these totally off the table?
Well, I think, Kelly, one thing we have to understand is that having these in moderation is okay. Having French fries occasionally is okay. Even drinking a soda rarely or, once a month, twice a month is probably okay. But for the people that are doing this consistently and have a habitual habit of eating these regularly, this is when it can have detrimental effects on your health. So like anything in life, Kelly, if we do things, in moderation, it can probably be okay.
Yeah, you can have it once and again when you're having a weak moment. All right, good to know. Dr. Omer Awan, always a pleasure, sir. Thanks for keeping us in the know.
My pleasure. Thanks, Kel.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.